The 5 hardest tests only chosen ones can withstand. Life as a chosen one isn't for the faint-hearted. The trials are intense, the road is narrow, and the stakes are eternal. If you've ever felt isolated, misunderstood, or burdened beyond comprehension, you're not alone. Throughout Scripture, God refines his chosen vessels through tests that seem unbearable, yet are designed to produce a glory far greater than the pain. Let us embark on this spiritual odyssey, exploring 5 of the hardest tests only chosen ones can endure, understanding their purpose, and gleaning strength to persevere. 1. The test of isolation. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46, verse 10. The chosen are often called into seasons of solitude. Think of Joseph, thrown into a pit by his own brothers and later imprisoned in a foreign land. Isolation is excruciating. It makes you question your worth, your purpose, and even God's presence. Why would a loving father strip you of relationships, comforts, and support? Isolation isn't punishment, it's preparation. God removes distractions to reveal his voice. When Elijah fled to the wilderness, God wasn't in the earthquake or the fire, but in the gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19, verse 12. Chosen ones are forged in the silence, where they learn to discern God's still, small voice and lean fully on him. In your isolation, remember this: God hasn't forgotten you. He is setting you apart, not to leave you lonely, but to make you holy. Trust the process. The pit is not the end. It's a prelude to the palace. 2. The test of betrayal. Even my close friend, someone I trusted, one who shared my bread, is turned against me. Psalm 41, verse 9. Betrayal cuts the deepest, especially when it comes from those closest to us. Jesus himself experienced the sting of betrayal when Judas sold him for 30 pieces of silver. How do you keep faith when the people you loved and trusted turn against you? The test of betrayal is designed to refine your heart. It exposes wounds and forces you to confront bitterness and unforgiveness. Forgiveness is not just for the other person, it's for your freedom. Jesus modeled this on the cross when he prayed, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Luke 23, verse 34. If you're facing betrayal, take heart. The chosen are betrayed not because they are weak, but because their destiny intimidates the enemy. God will use this betrayal to strengthen you, humble you, and elevate you to a place where no one can deny his hand on your life. 3. The test of delay. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. Habakkuk 2, verse 3. The waiting room of God is one of the hardest places to be. You've prayed, fasted, and obeyed, but the breakthrough seems elusive. Abraham and Sarah waited 25 years for their promised child, enduring the agony of delay. Delay isn't denial. It's a divine tool that teaches patience, perseverance, and trust. In the waiting, God works on your character, ensuring you can handle the weight of the blessing. Joseph's dreams didn't manifest overnight. He had to endure years of servitude and imprisonment before stepping into his destiny. If you're in a season of delay, know this: God is not withholding. He's aligning. His timing is perfect. Rest in the assurance that the promise is still valid. The longer the wait, the greater the glory. 4. The test of injustice. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5, verse 10. Few things test your faith like injustice. When you're ridiculed for your beliefs, overlooked despite your efforts, or punished for doing what's right, it's natural to cry out, "Why God?" Injustice is a crucible where the chosen learn to surrender their need for vengeance to God. David, though anointed to be king, endured years of persecution from Saul. He had opportunities to retaliate, but chose to honor God by sparing Saul's life. 1 Samuel 24. The test of injustice reminds us that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces. Ephesians 6, verse 12. When you endure persecution for righteousness, you're aligning yourself with Christ, who suffered unjustly for our redemption. Trust that God sees every injustice and will vindicate you in his time. 5. The test of surrender. Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. Luke 9, verse 23. Perhaps the hardest test of all is surrender. God asks the chosen to lay down their dreams, desires, and even loved ones on the altar. Abraham faced this test when God commanded him to sacrifice Isaac, the very promise he had waited decades to receive. Surrender isn't about loss, it's about trust. When you release what you're clinging to, you make room for God to move. Jesus himself surrendered his will in the Garden of Gethsemane, saying, "Not my will, but yours be done." Luke 22, verse 42. This test is not about breaking you, but about aligning you with God's perfect will. What you surrender to him, he will multiply and return in ways you can't imagine. If you're facing this test, hold on to the truth that God's plans for you are good, and his promises are always fulfilled. The crown beyond the cross. Being chosen doesn't mean an easy life. It means a purposeful one. The tests you endure are not signs of abandonment, but of divine selection. Every tear, trial, and triumph is shaping you into the vessel God needs for his glory. As Paul reminds us, we are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. 2 Corinthians 4 verses 8 to 9. Chosen one, your journey is not in vain. The fire you're walking through is refining you. The storms are strengthening you, and the delays are preparing you. Hold fast to God's promises. The tests may be hard, but the crown is eternal. When you feel like giving up, remember this. The weight of glory awaiting you far outweighs the pain of the present. You are chosen, cherished, and called. Stand firm, and let the world see the God who sustains you through the hardest of tests.